Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Strategy Genius Member School Spotlight featuring North Shore Country Day. I am Joyce Tom, and I'm joined by my colleague, Jennifer Hua. Together, we are part of the recruiting team at Strategy Genius. For those of you who are not familiar with us, Strategy Genius is one of the only BIPOC-owned operated search firms partnering exclusively with independent schools throughout the United States. For over 20 years, Strategy Genius's core tenet is to promote and champion equity and belonging in education by improving diversity among independent school teachers and leaders. For us, we see everything through an equity lens, and we consider our member schools and educators as partners. The educators we partner with are diverse in many ways and dimensions. Whether they're just starting out or ready to become head of school, the thread that connects our educators is their passion for DEIJB and their desire to seek out communities and schools that embrace and celebrate DEIJB. Our consultants have decades of experience mentoring and coaching educators. We're especially proud of how we've built relationships that span entire careers. We also take pride in supporting organizations and conferences that center diverse educators and equity. For example, we've been a major sponsor of the People of Color Conference since 2001 and are partnering with regional POSIS groups to help educators with their application materials. We take our partnership with member schools seriously too. Like educators, our member schools are diverse in size, philosophy, and in many other ways. The common thread connecting them is their commitment to DEIJB. As their partners, we push our member schools to think critically about their recruitment, hiring, and retention practices as they pertain to diverse educators. Currently, we partner with over 130 member schools. Each school is unique in its own way, and we feel really lucky to get to know these schools when we visit and work with them. We realize that sometimes it's hard for educators like you to really get to know a school. We know that a website or social media account can't always convey everything that makes a place special. So to bridge this gap, we're hosting the Member School Spotlight to give a school the stage and to let them share with educators what makes their school special and unique. So what exactly is the Member School Spotlight? Well, it's a 1-hour focus on a school. It's sort of like an information session tailored to educators who want to learn more about a school beyond the website. Today, administrators and teachers will talk about the school, its culture, its programming, and other unique aspects of the school. During the webinar, you can submit questions through the question and answer function. And we're going to be, as you know, we record these spotlights so that folks who can't make it today can still learn about this amazing school. The recordings will be stored on our website, the Strategy Genius website, and so that you can refer to it at any time. So we are extremely excited to share the spotlight with North Shore Country Day. And with that, Hua will say a few words about the school.
Yeah, so I have the pleasure of doing an introduction for North Shore Country Day. I had the pleasure to actually visit campus in the fall, and it is a beautiful campus. It is a junior kindergarten through 12th grade college prep school in the suburbs of Chicago. The school was founded about 100 years ago, and it spreads out to about 16 acres. Something that spoke to me about North Shore is their student-centered focus around the community. There is a large community space for upperclassmen to gather and have announcements. Their art center and their theater program is absolutely amazing. That is focused on how can we get students to be really creative in their hobbies and interests, and not just in the academic standard rigor of what you would see in another school. Something that's really amazing about the school is that they have a really beautiful campus that is easy accessible through public transportation. And their team is really focused on trying to make the student experience as best as it can be to craft great citizens, but also educated citizens. So without further ado, I will pass it over to our friends over at North Shore Country Day.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. My name is Tom Flemma and I am the head of school at North Shore Country Day. We are, as we just heard, we're about 100 years old, 104 years old, and I am in my 7th year as head. We're honored to present to you all today and to partner with Strategenius and to share our story. It's a story we're very proud of. And maybe the thing that we're proudest of is how we've stayed true to our roots in the progressive education movement while continuing to evolve to reflect best practice in education in the 21st century. As I think about the 10,000-foot overview to introduce you to North Shore Country Day, I want to highlight a few of the things that you'll hear more about. And this is a quote that sort of frames our current strategic plan, is one that I think reflects the way that we like to approach things here, making big plans, dreaming big dreams, and building off of the strength of 100 years of intentional development. So just a few of the themes that I'd love to introduce and that we'll hear more about from the rest of the team throughout the spotlight. First, we are a JK-12 learning community. And all 3 parts of that title are important because we believe that learning happens best within a context of a diverse and inclusive, joyful, interconnected community. Second, while we are located in a predominantly white and wealthy suburb of Chicago, we have spent decades building our community's fluency in EDI and diversifying our student and faculty and family populations. You'll see some of the fruits of that work throughout this presentation. We are committed from the Board of Trustees all the way through parent education to our work in this field. Third, our motto since 1922 has been live and serve. And we work really hard every day to integrate that not only into our service learning activities, but into an overall ethos of empathy and caring throughout all of our school. I think I'd also add that our pedagogy highlights project-based learning and collaborative work. Our skills curriculum, which you'll hear a lot more about later, is a primary way for us to keep those things front and center as we teach. We pay particular attention to student wellness and belonging as we build curriculum, as we allocate time, and as we create programs. And finally, we are a school that's always believed that the finest education is one that nurtures both the head and the heart. And that emphasis, I think, is apparent when you spend any time with our really wonderful students. So a couple of fast facts here, a picture of our beautiful campus. We are just outside of downtown Chicago, one of the great cities of the world. And we are very easily accessible by about a 25-minute train ride outside of the city. That's great, not only for our faculty and staff, but also for students. And we have a lot of students who take the train from the far north of Illinois down into Chicago to join us in the village of Winnetka. We have 547 students. 30% of those students, JK-12, are students of color. And they come from 44 different zip codes, which is something else that we're really proud of and which makes this a wonderful community. You can see our faculty numbers there. We have 85 teaching faculty. 30% of those are BIPOC, and that number is continuing to grow, particularly over the last few years, which we are really proud of, and it's something that we've been working hard to make it better and stronger. Our student ratio is 8-to-1. Our financial aid dollars are a significant portion of our budget and of our mission, and those are allocated to 20% of our student body. So lots of great news, I think, here, and a school that continues to get stronger and stronger. And if we could go to the next slide. These are some of the folks that you're going to be hearing from today. It is my absolute privilege and pleasure to work with them every day to build a school community that we are all proud of and that we hope you'd be interested perhaps in joining. So to go on to the next stage of our presentation, I'd like to introduce Mary Fielder, who is our assistant head of school. On to you, Mary.
Thanks, Tom. Again, my name is Mary Fielder. I'm in my 3rd year here at North Shore and have loved every minute of it, despite the first 2 years being COVID years. Our recipe for authentic academic excellence has a number of ingredients, as you can see on this slide. First and foremost, it's a dedicated faculty, a collegial faculty, teachers who know their craft and for whom teaching really is a calling, a vocation. And the second ingredient would be the teaching practices those teachers use. They are student-centered, they are diverse, and I do want to mention that though you're not here on campus with us, if you were to be here, you would see our facilities are the second teacher on the campus, in the sense that they provide the opportunity for diverse learning and teaching practices, because they are so open, and the ways we organize our classrooms can shift depending upon what the teacher wants to do. Next ingredient is an inclusive community. We recognize that the strength of an educational program is directly correlated with the commitment to EDI. And so we are constantly looking at our programming to make sure there are windows and mirrors for every single one of our students, and that they are developing the skills they need to navigate the world in which they live. And then the last really major ingredient is this breadth and depth and challenge of our curriculum. One that, for a student who has identified a passion, we provide a roadmap for them to continue pursuing that passion. And for those students who have not identified a passion, we expose them to a wide variety of opportunities that help them develop and cultivate a passion. We thought it would be nice for you to see some of our teachers talking about their work here at North Shore. So we're going to show you a video that was made for last year's benefit auction. So you're going to see a lot of folks wearing masks in this video, but they're not. Most of them are no longer wearing those masks. But as I said, the video was created during the midst of COVID, so most folks are wearing masks. But they're going to tell you a little bit about what it's like to be a teacher here at North Shore.
The power of a teacher who really loves you, who makes you feel like you as a whole person must be known and valued. You belong in a community where you are cherished, where you are loved, and they are excited to see you every time you walk in the door is invaluable.
We know the students in the classroom, of course, but we know the students on the athletic field. We know the students on stage in a play. We know the students walking down the hallway. We know every single facet of their lives. And they get to know ours too, which could be good or bad.
Working with teenagers is wildly unpredictable, but in all of the best ways. And I think you can be surprised every day with what you might find, whether it be an improvement by a student or a joke or some new slang that we're supposed to know to stay hip and cool. Students are really great and really kind, and they just make every day more enjoyable, make coming to work fun.
I see those small triumphs in class every day. I think it really helps students to grow their self-esteem and their confidence.
There are times where students don't feel like they can do engineering and design work. I was making a presentation to go to school night, and a mother raised her hand and said, "This sounds wonderful, but my daughter can't build it." And I said, "Well, let's see what happens, and then we'll talk after, like, the outcome of the bottle rocket project."
Coaching is special to me because you get to see students grow and thrive and excel and surprise themselves every day.
I teach because I feel that there is so many times that students just need that person to push them.
Don't tell any of my athletes, but I feel similarly about field hockey. The push, pass, and the pull are not near and dear to my heart, but watching kids be able to grow as a result of a sport is near and dear to my heart.
And they, at the beginning, said, "We cannot do it. This is too hard, too complicated." And I said, "Trust me, all of you can do it by the end of this chapter."
It's wonderful to introduce something, but then to see them really grasp onto it and really ask a lot of questions and, you know, be searching for information. You can see when they're processing and when they're curious.
When a student says, "Oh," I could tell that that's when a student really fully understands and grasps.
Finally, they got it.
And you see this like glow, this light, this positivity that you just don't really get to see on a normal basis. And it's just like a spark. And like that to me is that moment of like pure joy and pure acceptance of like who they are and really finding their own voice.
So I hope that video helped you visualize what life is like here on the campus of North Shore. Now I'd just like to speak briefly to what makes our curriculum, our programming distinctive and powerful relative to perhaps other schools that you might be looking at. The first is our progressive frame. We were founded in the progressive educational model, and as a result, we very much want students to explore and learn in academic forums, in the arts, and in athletics. We want students to have a holistic education and not narrow things down to one particular area. It's wonderful because our students can be a language kid, a science kid, an artist, an athlete, any number of things, and not just one of them. And as a result, they develop a really healthy sense of self. The second component that makes us distinctive and powerful is that we have a culture of collaborative achievement. One in which there's a real pride in achievement, but not in an exclusionary or hyper-competitive way. One in which students are proud of each other's individual achievements and support each other, and also learn how to work in a team and be proud of strong teamwork. Our JK through 12 engagement is also quite distinctive. As Tom said, we have 547 students, JK through 12 on this campus, and we regularly engage across grades and divisions so that students can learn from each other and appreciate the importance of mentorship and friendship and care from older and younger students. It really fosters perspective building, particularly that last photo, the one down at the bottom there, shows it's one of our seniors whose buddy is a kindergartner, and they are painting, getting ready for homecoming, which is one of our wonderful events. And then lastly, I want to mention our essential skills curriculum. Over the course of the last several years, we have identified 6 essential skills that we work to foster in our curriculum, JK through 12. And those skills are skills that we have identified and believe will serve our students and prepare them for an uncertain future. So when content is easily searchable on Google, or that particular calculus problem isn't going to necessarily apply to what a student does after North Shore or college, they still have these 6 skills. And Lauren, if you wouldn't mind going to that slide, that will serve them as they navigate an unpredictable and uncertain future. And we've already seen fantastic outcomes as far as emphasizing these 6 skills. We find that our students are inclusive, confident, self-possessed young people with, most importantly, a disposition to serve, which ties into our motto, as Tom mentioned, and it is at the core of these essential skills to live and serve. I'm now going to pass the mic to Tim Sheehan, the head of our middle and lower school.
Thanks, Mary. Very happy to have this opportunity. My name is Tim Sheehan. I am the head of lower and middle school. This is my 8th year at North Shore Country Day School, my 2nd year in this role of head of lower and middle. We've got slides that'll detail the lower and the middle school, but I wanted to talk just very briefly about my experience as an administrator here and about North Shore Country Day School. I'm lucky enough to also be a parent here, so I get to see it from 2 lenses, both as an administrator and as a parent. And I can tell you without fail, it's a happy place. It's a wonderful place to work with great and engaged colleagues. We've talked a little bit about the kindergarten through 12th grade structure, and as the head of 2 of the divisions, I can attest to it. Lower schoolers know middle schoolers know upper schoolers, and upper schoolers know lower schoolers. It's a neat place because with 540 students, you can have a 4-year-old know an 18-year-old and get introduced to them by that way. At North Shore, education is personal. It's personal for the students, for the families, and for the teachers. We have a great structure for lower and middle school. I'm the head, but there are 2 assistant heads, one for lower and one for middle school. And all 3 of us pride ourselves on having an open door policy for our families and especially for the faculty. Part of the attraction of working at a small school is that we can support faculty in unique ways when daily problems arise, small or large. It's a tight-knit community in both divisions. We have a lot of fun, and that's something that we also pride ourselves on, that, we play hard and we work hard. So in the lower school, we've got around 40 faculty members, 195 students. There are assistant teachers at 6 of the 7 grades in lower school. Lower school is kindergarten through 5th grade. We have a 6-day rotating schedule that allows students to be able to have a variety of different specials and work with many different specialist teachers. So to get to the point Mary was making, we really are able to have a well-rounded approach to the education the students receive. We have a co-teaching model in the lower school, kindergarten through 1st grade. And then after 1st grade, we go to 2 sections for 2nd, 3rd, and 3 sections for 5th grade. 5th grade is a little bit different than the other grades in that it's semi-departmentalized with 1 language arts homeroom, 1 social studies homeroom, and 1 math homeroom. We have a great kaleidoscope curriculum, which is informed by our 4 community values: kindness, inclusion, compassion, integrity, and respect. And that is a curriculum that spans kindergarten through 5th grade with all of the EDI principles that we are working on. We also have amazing other opportunities for teachers in the Later Raters program, which takes place before and after school to teach different classes that teachers are interested in, and to also provide care for lower schoolers before and after school. Our middle school continues on in the same vein as lower school, very, very connected. We've got 38 faculty members, about 130 students. We moved to a different schedule in middle school. We're on a 7-day block schedule that actually mirrors very similarly our upper school. You'll see with the faculty members, there are crossover teachers that work in both the middle and the upper school. We have an incredibly strong student advisory program. Getting to the points that previous people have talked about, we really want to know our students. And that's no different in middle school, especially in those ages when they're looking for an adult to get to know them. So every student has an advisor, and in the advisory program, it's cross-graded. So you have 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders all working together as a team. We have a robust outdoor ed program. Our 8th graders go to Washington, D.C. for their 8th grade trip, but all grades start the year with outdoor education, getting to know each other and getting to know the teachers. We have community gathering as a middle school that happens once or twice a month, where the entire middle school gets together, usually sits by advisory. And we do everything from sharing out what we're working on to having very, very rigorous trivia games. It's a lot of fun. We also have a very, very dedicated EDI curriculum in our middle school that's been developed over the last few years with Lauren Collins and the EDI middle school team. We have learning circles or affinity spaces for our middle school students. We also have opportunities every Wednesday to talk about different topical events that relate to EDI and the world at large. And last, for our middle school, we also have these wonderful experiential education days that are shared by the upper school. These are days where students, we can kind of drop everything and do something different, whether it be a field trip or some sort of experiential ed in the division. So that's our lower and our middle school. I will toss it over to Dave Potter to talk about the upper school.
Thank you, Tim. As Tim said, I'm Dave Potter and I'm upper school head. And I'm in my 19th year here in this role, and have to just start by saying I love the school. It's been an important part of my professional life and certainly my family. So I'll just share a few comments about the upper school. Despite being smaller, we have a very strong and robust academic and co-curricular program. We have a full complement of AP classes, electives, athletic teams, theater productions, service opportunities, and a range of student clubs. We also offer instrumental ensemble and chorus as an academic class. Being small allows us to know our kids incredibly well, to know our teachers incredibly well. And we think that enhances the teaching experience and the sense of feeling as being part of a community. I love the idea that I can walk out my door and at any point see a student who I can check in with, connect with, and have that conversation, and just do that repetitively over time so that people feel visible and cared for and known. Our students report that the school has a sense of being larger than it actually is. And what they say is that in addition to forging friendships with their classmates, they also get to know older students and younger students well enough to develop friendships. And so they have an expanded pool of possible friends and acquaintances and people that they connect with. Just a comment about our schedule, because it connects to wellness and overall health. We have 75-minute classes, 4 a day, and they allow certainly for intensive engagement and flexibility within the teaching space. And it's important to note, though, that after every one of our classes, we have activities that help to bring back the energy, to be restorative, to replenish, to relax. And I'll just go over a few of them so that you can get a sense. After our 9:30, after our first block that ends at 9:30, we have what we call community time, where we do a great deal of programming throughout the year. We have weekly community gatherings where our upper school gathers with students and teachers for announcements and activities. And we have Morning X, where the whole school gets together. We offer PE wellness classes where every upper school student takes a semester. And the focus of those classes is mind-body integration. And we offer classes in yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, Feldenkrais, martial arts, athletic performance. And I would say that in some ways, the opportunities that students have to work with excellent outside teachers who specialize in these disciplines mirrors the opportunities our kids have in their regular academic life, where their teachers are exceptional and passionate and invested in their learning. We also offer health and digital citizenship classes to our 10th grade, introduction to the upper school in 9th grade, which looks at student study skills and mental health and just a range of topics that will help kids adjust to high school. We do EDI conversations in grade-based groups during this community time. Our student clubs meet during this time, ACT prep classes for juniors and senior service planning and senior transition series. After our second block, we have something called common work period, where all students and teachers are free to connect and work together. And CWP happens every day except for Wednesdays, when we use that time for advisory and also for affinity groups on alternating weeks. So, and after the third block, we have lunch, and after the fourth block, our academic ends. So the interesting part about student wellness and health is that with only 3 or 4 classes each day, students have reported that they find the nightly preparation to be easier to manage, less rigorous. And this is especially true if our students use time during the day to do their work. 75 minutes is a chunk of time where plenty of work can be done, and our students take advantage of that. We have had a focus on well-being, and one of the areas is on rest and sleep, and our students report that the schedule that we have enhances their capacity to get rest and sleep. And we contribute to that by offering a one late start every cycle, and we allow students to sleep in when the first block of the day is a free period. So with respect to health and wellness, we also examine and we use the way we schedule our courses to protect kids from themselves. We only allow students in the junior year to take 2 AP classes and seniors to take 3 AP classes. And we also do a pretty careful review of each student's academic plans to make sure that we think they're manageable and not excessive and not going to be debilitating. I would say that just in terms of distinctive qualities, we love the idea of our students and our teachers, the relationships they develop, the working partnerships that they form. Many of our students work individually with their teachers, and we know that that enhances their learning and it builds relationships. And we see it even beyond that as a skill set that our kids cultivate when they go to college. The idea of working with a professor or attending office hours is a no-brainer. They're just ready to do that because they've been so comfortable doing that in their times at North Shore. With regard to faculty culture, I would say that our teachers are so supportive of one another, so ready to help, and so ready to acknowledge and affirm and to be there when they're needed. It's an important part of our culture. And then when we're supporting students, our teachers readily collaborate and share stories and insights that help us really support our kids as well as we possibly can. Enormous amounts of energy goes to thinking about how we can support our students, be proactive to get to the point where we're helping a problem be diminished or avoided or tamped down. And that takes a lot of work. But it's work that we love, and it's work that brings us together. On a personal note, I can just say that my wife and I have 3 sons. They've all gone through this program. And as a dad, I have to say there's not really anything more that I could think of that bringing these guys to this program, I just can't fathom that I could do anything more instrumental to helping them grow. They had spectacular teachers who stretched them, who supported them, and who truly knew them. And it's positioned them to be ready to thrive in college and beyond. I'm convinced that the program here prepared them for that. And so this is what we aspire to do with all of our students. That kind of care, that kind of investment, that kind of belief that we can support them working with parents, and that we have partnerships that help students learn and grow. So that's the upper school story. I'm now going to turn things over to Lauren Collins, our Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement.
Good afternoon. As Dave said, I am the Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement. My name is Lauren Collins, and I've been at North Shore. This is my 3rd year. I like to share this simple graphic because this is what anchors the work that we do here. I know and I believe that shared language and shared understanding is really critical when trying to do this work as an institution, and to be able to use shared language across all stakeholders and constituency groups. We know that diversity is just the presence of difference. We think about inclusion as a sense of belonging and acceptance. I have an opportunity to meet with all of our upper school students and middle school students at the beginning of the year to just prompt them to remember, to remind them what messaging are they sending to their peers, to other people in the community, about whether or not they can be their whole selves here, and that everyone has the right to show up as their authentic self. And then equity really is our focus. It drives the work that we do. It's the thread that we are looking to elevate across programming, practice, policy, pedagogy. And we think about it as systems and practices to be redesigned to extend open access. Equity charges us to make the invisible visible, to understand not only that everyone needs something different, but that there is a requirement and a responsibility for us to create in response to what we know. This work that we do here, that I do in partnership with faculty, staff, other administrators, parents, the board, rests on our mission, our values. We have a strategic plan where this is one of our key pillars. We really try to make sure that this mission and that our values are palpable and explicit across the divisions and across, again, all of the work that we're doing. I often go back to this charge and this priority that we have in our mission to develop and nurture ethical citizens of the world. In order to do that in 2023, we absolutely have to engage students to develop their skill set when it comes to equity and inclusion and diversity. The world is continually changing and evolving. We want our students to feel like they are active, engaged agents of change as these evolutions take place. We want them to be able to identify where change is needed. How do we continue to move whatever sphere we are a part of towards justice? How do we engage across differences? How do we participate in conversations that are critical, even if they're challenging? This is what anchors us, and this is what guides our work. So this work is comprehensive, as I've said. I'm really excited to be a part of an institution where you can point to how this is showing up across all these different facets. Like I said, it is an institutional priority. It's in our strategic plan. We have an EDI board committee. We have the support of our board. You'll hear in a second from our board chair. We have a structure in place that holds the work. Of course, we know that our aspiration is for everyone to see themselves in the work, to see their role, to see that they have a part in moving it forward. And we have a structure in place so that systemically, even if someone leaves or departs or steps back, the work will of course continue. We have divisional coordinators. We have an EDI coordinator in every division, as well as a staff coordinator. And then we have curriculum teams that have been mentioned earlier, both in our middle school and our upper school, that are continually developing curriculum that shows up for our students during community time, during the grade-based groups, as Dr. Potter mentioned, in the upper school. And we try to work in close partnership with faculty, because we don't want this to feel peripheral or tangential. We want this to continue to be embedded in our program. Obviously, we're here today because hiring and continuing to diversify our faculty is a priority. We are aware of some of our challenges in doing that, geographically where we sit, historically, the demographics of the community where we are located. But we are striving to create a context and a community where folks of color, BIPOC faculty and staff can see themselves here. We are, as mentioned earlier, in close proximity to Chicago. And there's a vibrant culture to be had or to be experienced here. We have ongoing faculty and staff professional development, curriculum and program assessment and development. This summer, we have lots of folks who are really engaged in thinking about what do we need to do differently, whose voices are not heard, what curricula needs to be updated, revised, which texts need to be included, which ones do we maybe need to sunset. We have ongoing parent education and engagement through speakers. Just this past weekend, we had a heritage celebration where lots of families came out and shared food from their culture and background. We were able to engage in some music and dance performance. Our community is a very richly diverse community, and that's not always obvious at the onset, but we know that it is, and we want to celebrate and elevate and center that as central to our identity. Lots of affinity groups for parents and faculty to be involved in and to be engaged in, for mirrors, for camaraderie, for community building. Those are continuing to grow, and they are, we have been told, and I know from personal experience, that those are really essential to folks feeling a sense of connection, which is again, something that we feel really proud of here at North Shore. So I'll give you an opportunity to just hear quickly from our board chair.
Hi, my name is Nicole Wilson, and I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees of North Shore Country Day. It is my pleasure and honor to be part of the leadership team for a school that prioritizes equity, diversity, and inclusion. As the Board of Trustees, we support not only the work of EDI, but also the administrators and the teachers in our school who lead that work each and every day. And as a board, we are also key participants in this work. We are on our own parallel path of learning and growing and developing on this journey. And what's interesting is we realize that this is not only just a critical element of what we do now, but is also key to our longevity and sustainability as an institution.
Nicole Wilson is a phenomenal partner, as is our Board of Trustees. That is one of the, I think one of the elements of our school that has us poised to make some really good strides going forward and continue to build on the work that's already been done. I want to just share briefly what's happening in each of our divisions. In the lower school, we are absolutely cognizant of child development and understanding identity. We tap into a number of frameworks and curricular resources, including the Beyond Our Neighbors curriculum. What you see a picture of here is the Learning for Justice, anti-bias, anti-racist standards, outcomes, and scenarios that we look to help us think about the work that we're doing. We want to be able to say that our students are developing these skills because they are absolutely skills. Our lower school has their 5 words that are central to the work that they're doing, that our faculty talk about regularly, we introduce to our youngest learners. It's a part of the culture and the language in our lower school. We're also in the 2nd year of a partnership with Britt Hawthorne, who is an amazing facilitator. She's also an author. She actually will be on campus next week to meet with our faculty and our parents. So we're always looking for ways to bolster our skill set, and we want our students to engage in this work, obviously in a way that is age appropriate, and our faculty are very committed to doing that. Our middle school, we know that this is the time in our learners' lives when they are really trying to figure out who we are, who I am, who are you, how do we work together? What are the pieces of my identity that I would like to explore? There's things about me that are changing and evolving, and we are coming alongside our students to walk that journey with them, to elevate conversations, to ask really good questions, to prompt enriching discussion. We use learning circles, which meet about twice per month. These happen at the grade level, where students come together around a topic. They are also diving into content. This is an opportunity to dive into content, in a deeper way. Our Wake Up Wednesdays are almost like a mini advisory with an EDI focus. They happen weekly. They allow students to engage with topics that are happening in current events, but also our faculty bring up concepts and principles that we know are relevant to the work that we're doing, but also to students between 11 and 14 who are really navigating lots of different things right now. This work shows up in our advisory. We use a lot of resources from Facing History and ourselves. We also have affinity groups that students self-select into across all sorts of identifiers: race, religion, ability, age. We have students in girls groups, athletes, et cetera. We want our students to have spaces where they can experience mirrors and also feel proud, to feel a sense of pride in who they are. And then our faculty, our middle school faculty, similar to our lower school, constantly seeking out ways to enhance and build their skill set, their fluency, deepen their understanding. Some of the work that our faculty have participated in, the Equity Literacy Institute, ISEEN, and Anti-Racism Every Day. In our upper school, We are really understanding that our students are wrestling with a lot of content. We understand that our students' thinking is becoming more nuanced. They're able to take on more complex ideas and conversations, and we try to build containers for that to happen. We strive to establish trust. We want to center dignity. We want our students to feel a sense of safety where they can take a risk and say what they're thinking, share how they're feeling, be themselves, bring their identities into the classroom and into discussions and their coursework. This happens through some structures, including our advisory, our peer advisories, grade-based groups, but also through the work that our teachers are doing through the curriculum by using inclusive texts and perspectives from different identities, by actively combating Eurocentrism, by centering our live and serve principles. We are trying to nurture a confidence and a competence in all of our upper school students. Again, lots of affinity groups for our upper school students to participate in. All of these groups came from students stepping forward and saying, we would like an affinity group, which I think speaks to the culture of our upper school. Our students feel confident in being themselves and being seen. Our students are not trying to fly under the radar. They understand that there's pride and there's value in the differences that each of them bring into our student community. I will say that one of the aspects of this community that is really exciting to me are the number of faculty that are absolutely engaged in this work across all of these divisions. I can confidently say as a practitioner that I'm not doing this work alone, that there are strong partnerships, that people are engaged and committed to this work, and that shows up. It shows up across all of the different things that are happening in our school. So I am going to pass back to our assistant head, Mary Fielder, to talk a little bit about some of the nuts and bolts of being an employee at North Shore.
Thanks so much, Lauren. And I'm mindful of time and want to leave some time for questions. So I'm going to go through this a little bit more quickly than I originally had intended. So what does it look like when a new faculty or staff member joins North Shore? The two terms that come to mind right away are support and professional growth. So for our new to the school faculty and staff, they will be participating in a year one program, the YOP as we call it. It's structured. We have a program that allows that sort of unfolds in a way that makes sense as a new teacher is experiencing the school year. It also involves social activities and spontaneous gatherings so that there's what develops is a feeling of being a cohort of folks so that they're not isolated. They would have a mentor who is not in their department necessarily or at their grade level. They would have the leader of the YOP program as well as divisional administrative folks to go to. Our goal is for new folks not to ever have these words come out of their mouth. I wish I had known that before. If we can get through a year with a faculty member not having said that, we have achieved significant success, because so much of a first year at a school involves finding out things about the school and processes after they should have already known it. So we are very proud of this year one program and think it is extraordinarily effective. Next slide, Lauren. Professional growth and professional development. We have a very robust budget for professional development and growth, continuing ed, as well as conferences and workshops. A total of about $125,000 a year is spent sending our faculty to conferences, workshops, institutes, and bringing in speakers to work with our faculty. And about $25,000 of that is expressly dedicated to EDI professional growth opportunities. The other 100,000 also is spent often on EDI related professional growth, but we have 25,000 that can only be used for that. So very, very robust budget. And we have such a robust budget because we want, as it says on the slide, our faculty to be at a balanced, vibrant place to learn, work, and grow. We want our faculty to be ever, sort of modeling modeling lifelong learning, and to grow as individuals, persons, and as educators. Next slide, Lauren. And then lastly, in terms of faculty support, we have a very competitive benefits package, healthcare, retirement. As I said, PD, we have a sabbatical program. We have something called lifelong learning grants that our faculty can apply for to do something that is simply, something they've dreamed of doing that they never have had a chance to do. And so we fund those on a regular basis. We have tuition remission. We have, as it says here, tuition reimbursement. That's for continuing ed, before and after school care for faculty children who attend North Shore. It is a place where we want to make sure you're not worried about how to manage support for you and your family. We want you to focus on being the best teacher you can be. And so we are very proud of our benefits package.
So I will close out by just saying that we have a thriving community of BIPOC faculty and staff here at North Shore. I just wanted to share a couple of quotes. I won't read them to you, but that folks feel like they can find their place here. They feel like there's a sense of connection, a sense of community, lots of support from each other, from administrators. There's autonomy and freedom and opportunities to be creative and to be collaborative. This feeling of togetherness is something that keeps people here at North Shore, and we're really excited about that. And of course, would love for you to reach out if you have questions, to take a look at our website, to reach out to Mary Fielder. We have a number of openings that are posted right now. And just thank you so much for your time and taking a little bit out of your day to learn more about the wonderful things happening here at North Shore Country Day.
Awesome. Thank you so much for providing that information about what it's like to be part of your community. This is the part where we ask questions. So we have 2 attendees that we have elevated to speak, but other folks feel free to ask questions. The first question that we like to start off with is, what brought you to North Shore? Where was home for you? Were you local? Did you come from a different state? What was that transition like for you?
My name is Ashley Weathers, and can you hear me? Okay. North Shore was home for me. I am an alumni. I attended North Shore in middle school, and my kids now attend school here. So I actually was looking for a transition in my life. I have about 14 years of public accounting experience, and I was looking to transition, and the environment was right, the timing was right, the opportunity was right. And so I was local, and here I am. I just started in July.
Gia, would you like to say something? Or anyone in the panel could also answer this question too.
Wasn't sure if you wanted anybody to jump in. So anybody can jump in if you want, or Lauren can lead. So I moved here from Connecticut because the community, I had my kids who were in school, and the community feel was just palpable, and the learning, I think opportunities that we saw were remarkable, and I wanted my kids to be a part of this community.
So I was already local. I was in the Chicago area. I was drawn to the expectation or the aspiration, the intention that the community messaged as a candidate to me about where they were trying to go, where at the time now we are trying to move towards. And it was obvious to me that there was lots of thought that had been put into what this work could and should look like in a JK-12 institution. I was also really drawn to JK-12. I think it's really, it's such an opportunity to watch children move from 4 to 18-year-olds and to think about how to just be at each of these milestones and to plant the seeds of EDI from the very youngest age, and to watch how that evolves and matures over time was something that was really appealing to me.
Tom, did you say something? You
Sorry, I asked if we had any other questions.
Sure do. Next question is, what are some opportunities of growth that you're really excited for at your institution?
And maybe, I don't know if Gia and Ashley and Francis got the memo to, if they can, turn their cameras on and feel free to answer those questions as teachers in the school. And if not, you can just answer with your voice.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to turn on my camera. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. What are some areas of growth that you're really excited for at your institution?
I can
Oh, sorry, I cannot turn on my camera. I apologize. But I am really looking forward to the continued growth in our diversity. Since I was here as a student, we have come so far, and the students, my children, get to come to school and see teachers that look like them, students that look like them. And I think that that is very important in an environment such as North Shore. So I'm really looking forward to continued growth in our diversity.
Hi, my name is Gia Anais. I actually can't turn on my video either, but I am happy to answer this question. This is actually my 4th week here at North Shore Country Day, so very new to the community, but not new to independent schools. I previously came from an independent school, and I'm also the product of an independent school. So I am the Director of Marketing and Strategic Communications here at North Shore, and I would say opportunities to grow are definitely with telling and showing the story of what the school is about. Even in the past 3 weeks, I've just been able to experience how amazing of a community this is. And just the students are so incredibly intelligent and are so passionate, and just you could really feel the sense of community here. So I'm really excited to be able to share more about North Shore and just really give a nice sense of what the school is all about.
I know you all have heard my voice, but I'll say that one of the opportunities or areas of growth that I'm really excited about are what I think is starting to happen, or what is kind of coming back to life in our parent community. We have some really engaged parents who want to help support the work, elevate the work, engage other parents. There's a lot of energy. And so that's a growth spot for us as a community, and I'm excited about that.
And I will add from where I sit, 2 of the really exciting initiatives that we're working on. One is a health and wellness task force to really inventory what our students' experiences are, JK through 12, in terms of cultivating health and wellness. And then secondly, now that we are out of COVID, or on our way out of COVID, to really explore more place-based education, leveraging our proximity to Chicago and our local communities to teach our students in more and more robust ways about what it is to be, to live and serve.
In the upper school, we've embarked on a bit of a journey to learn more about how we can learn from each other in the classroom and beyond. But we've had some really great opportunities for teachers to visit one another's classes, embed in classes for an extended period of time, and to focus on conversation around pedagogy. So we've got some good momentum, and we're looking forward to building on that in the future.
I would say in lower and middle, not huge projects, but important ones. In lower, we're working on our grading systems and our grading scales, and in middle, we're looking at our schedule. And what I like about both of those projects is there's faculty voice in all of them. This is opportunities for faculty to contribute in leadership ways. It's also a way to hear what they think and incorporate their ideas into the work. We really do have a collaborative culture and make sure that this work is done during the work hours, not additionally, so that faculty can feel like they are a huge part of the process and can partner with us administratively.
So I'm I'm from the West Coast, and I don't know Chicago or the area very well. What do y'all do outside of school? What do you do on the weekends?
It never snows here, which is great. Not once has it ever snowed now. I'm from Chicago. I'm a native. It's, as Tom said, one of the best cities in the world. It's small enough to get to know very, very quickly and large enough that you never know it fully. There's always something to explore. Winter, spring, fall, longer winter, and all of the above. It's a great, great city.
Yes, agreed. And I will just, in thinking about our audience, there are so many community spaces that are thriving. If you are, whatever you're into, you can find it. If you want, I was going to start naming some things, but if you're looking for it, it's here. And it's a thriving community. And I will say that Chicagoans have their own culture, but that's okay. For those of us who are not native Chicagoans, you can still find your place. So there's lots of wonderful food, lots of live music. You always get any of the concerts. They're coming through Chicago. Amazing art spaces if you enjoy art, athletics if that's your thing, yoga, meditation spaces, lots of wellness opportunities. I think there's just, and if you have a family, there are some neighborhoods that their whole, I would say, identity is to serve families. And once you, if you choose to come to this area, we can help point you in that direction. So lots of great parks and libraries. I mean, just wonderful neighborhoods to explore. And there are so many different neighborhoods in the Chicagoland area with their own flavor. So I feel like anyone who comes to the city can find what they're looking for and find their place.
Also, if you're coming from the West Coast, we have a lake that is right outside, almost to our front door. But yeah, Chicago's proximity to the water is also what makes the city pretty cool too.
Francis, were you trying to jump in there?
Yes, but everybody said everything I wanted to say, but I wanted to reiterate that Chicago as a city is a great city. I'm not a native Chicagoan, but I moved here in my mid-20s, and I feel almost like I've been here all my life. It's a great city. To what Lauren was saying, it's a great space for like culture. The diversity is very interesting, and like Lauren said, like if you, I mean, you can find food, whatever you're looking for, you can find. I feel it's a community that embraces. And as to the previous question, in the community, like in the school, when we're talking about what we're looking for, I just wanted to say that for me, this is my first year, and I just mentioned to someone the other day that I feel like I've been here already 5 years, and I'm just about to end my first year this semester. So it's an excellent community, very embracing of diversity and kindness, and great place to be.
Awesome. To be respectful of time, I'd like to thank you so much for spending your time with us. It's a valuable commodity. And we look forward to hearing from y'all soon. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.